Several platforms to choose from for your listening enjoyment, but continues to offer helpful tips and avenues for growth along the way. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use.
With an easy, hassle-free method for uploading, you can add your podcast episodes to Anchor.fm's extensive library, available for listening on several popular streaming services, letting listeners choose a favorite platform. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast.
That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what we're doing right now by reading this ad.
Go to anchor.fm/start to get started today. Death.
Wow.
That was all for me.
Alright, well, Peachy, what do you got for us this week?
I shared two of those titles with that Sudon had mentioned. I shared Amazing Spider-Man number 20. If I had to rate it, I'd put it at about... There was a lot going on in this issue, and I did kind of a quick scan, but enjoyed the majority of it. A lot went on. A lot of crazy stuff, and new things are going to happen, and whatever. The story's going pretty okay. I heard people talking at the store that they don't really like it much. I'm like, and I feel the weight of waiting for a payoff, because there's underlying stuff that's going on, reveals that are coming and things like that. Mary Jane seems to be in a lot of danger right now, and we haven't really focused on that in this story. It's something that was in the background in one of the issues and whatever. So
this whole Craven side of it's been kind of confused. Like,
yeah,
what are you doing?
Yeah, he's got some crazy motivation for what he's doing.
And this Hunted storyline ends in the next issue, 22.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, so we're not sure what's going to happen on 25, like he was saying at the store. So that's a side note. I just happened to notice it.
Huh. But yeah, great issue. I dug it. If I had to give it a grade, I'd give it about an 8.5.
8, no terror.
Yeah, 8.5. The one thing that struck a core with me as a lifelong Spider-Man fan was seeing his struggle to fight, and it made me call back to many other issues and even Endgame. When he's getting overrun and whatnot.
And that I got that from that too, but he doesn't have the kill mode.
Yeah,
instant kill.
Yeah.
Instant kill.
But yeah, that was. I was worried for him on that one. I'm like, shit.
For sure. A lot of crazy stuff going on in that book. I also shared Immortal Hulk number 17, like Sudon mentioned, by Al Ewing and Joe Bennett, covers by Alex Ross, the wonderful Alex Ross. And then shared Spider-Man Life Story. You're not picking that one up, or are you?
He's not reading it.
Oh, okay, you are picking it up.
I fell behind on it, and I just haven't read it yet.
Interesting directions they're taking with these different stories and whatever, and I'm kind of eager to see how it progresses in the next book.
Yes.
Going into the 90s. This one covered the 80s. They hit a lot of points from big story arcs like the
Craven's Last Hunt
story and such.
And then The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. It touched on a lot of stuff.
Throw back to Bambi there.
Right. But yeah, they touched on a lot of stuff because of the cover.
Right.
But yeah, a different spin on the story. They're at a different point in life in this book, and it's crazy what they're doing with it, and eager to see how it works out.
Gwen Stacy was there.
Gwen Stacy was there?
Not in this book.
Oh.
But she was there.
Yeah.
Anyways.
No grades?
Oh, grades on Immortal Hulk. I dug it. I'd give it a 7. It was pretty good. It's kind of cleared up a few questions, kind of a little bit, not really. But brought some new stuff into the game and whatever. Life story, I'd probably give it an 8. It was pretty good, interesting, like I said, with the direction they're taking and whatever. But my pick of the week, which I have to give a solid 9.5 maybe, of course, is Daredevil. Good call.
I knew.
Yeah.
It's taking forever to read, so
Yeah,
it did. About that.
Ooze called it last week, though.
Yeah.
I thought I had Venom out this week, so I thought I might talk about Venom, but apparently
That's your only book for next week,
yeah, it's
so...
my only book next week. I thought it was... Or I must have seen a reprint that was probably out this week or something, but... yeah, Daredevil number 5. Writing by Chip Zdarsky. And who's the art by here? Mark Cecchetto. I'm really digging his art on the inside. This cover was done by Julian Totino Tedesco.
He's
cover.
been doing the covers, right? I think that name just sounds really familiar. So
the name does sound familiar. I'm not exactly sure if he's been doing all of the covers, but this cover in particular, I've seen Daredevil covers similar to this. That must be by him. I'm guessing, but it's great.
yeah,
a lot of watercolory kind of, I don't know, just craziness. It's a good picture.
monochromatic and then splash of color.
Yeah.
It's always
I
good.
actually think that Josh Middleton, is it Middleton? He does the Aquaman covers right now and some of the DC covers where he uses a lot of, or no, it was David Mack who did the watercolors. No, David Mack for the Superman. Remember those?
Right, yeah. Those were good.
That's right, those
I
were
liked
good.
those.
But yeah, and to me, at least, these type of covers are iconic. Whoever they're by, it's recognizable, highly recognizable to me on a Daredevil cover for the book, and I just loved it. I love the way it's done. I love the detail, whatever. That's a great cover. Mark Cecchetto doing the inside art. I've loved. He's got a different take on the look of the characters and stuff. He doesn't use a whole lot of detail until you get close up, which is cool, you know.
Very Ultimates looking.
Right. But there is a lot of detail. I really dug the art style, especially later on in the book, what he did with Daredevil, or Matt, with Daredevil with his mask off and stuff like that. This one, I think I talked about the last one.
Yes. Him in Punisher chilling.
Yeah. Yeah, so in this one he's decided that he's going to take down Owlsley, the owl. Basically because he's got some drug thing going. He's running a drug ring and whatever, and he's bringing stuff in. So he tries to take on, and he's pretty hurt from what I remember in that fight with Punisher. I think he might have been stabbed at least. But he's running on steam. He just fought the Punisher. He fought somebody else just before that. I can't remember.
Everyone he's fighting.
Oh, yeah, the cops. Yeah. So he decides he's going to take them on. One man, whatever. And he's getting overpowered at one point. And he's, swinging for his best. And he's like, oh, thank God, my friends, they showed up, and it's Luke and Jessica.
The Defenders.
And Danny, yeah, the Defenders. Whatever, and he's like, oh, wait. They're not here to help me, they're here to bring me in. They know I'm a murderer. He's like, he gets, immediately like, oh, shit. Because a few books back, he was coming out of recovery, and he caused the death of an assailant. There were a group of guys doing a robbery or something, but yeah, and he even mentions in the book that
Allegedly.
No, that he tried to deny it, and said no, it wasn't me, and they're trying to frame me and this and that. But in this book, he mentions that he can hear the sound of the thud against the concrete over and over in his head, and he knows that he did it. He knows that.
At least he's not in denial anymore.
Yeah, no, which was a dangerous thing. So now he's just he's like a cornered, hurt animal that he's just kind of lashing out, and he's like giving everything he's got to try to take down bad guys and blah blah blah. But I mean, when they showed up, he noticed that they were there, and next thing he knew, he was waking up in like Danny's apartment or whatever, and they were helping him recover, and they kind of talk him down or try to talk him down. They're like, "Hey, we've all done it. We've all accidentally killed people," and he's like, "You're all murderers." And then he's all, "We're all murderers," and
right.
And he's just going nuts. He's lost sleep. He's running on fumes. He just got out of like a coma where he was beat to shit, whatever.
Right.
And
Almost died,
and he just keeps saying, like, Daredevil will never die. I've got to show people and this kind of thing and whatever. And Danny and them are all trying to talk him down. He's like, "You're right. Let me go splash some water on my face."
he
Leaves out the
leaves,
bathroom
yeah.
window, yeah, of course, which we all saw come.
Right, yeah. Except for him.
Yeah, except for him, yeah. Because to spell what is it? To spell Hawaii, you need two eyes.
And Matt Murdock can't spell Hawaii? He has eyes, he just can't see.
Okay. No, but that's terrible. I'm sorry. I read it. It was an X-Men joke that I saw, X-Men cartoon, when Gene said it to
Scott.
To Scott, yeah. He's like, "My life's just one big joke, isn't it, Gene?" Yeah, it was pretty great. But
anyways,
I digress. Yeah, so he goes out the window and he goes home. He decides he's going to suit up and head back out. And part of what I thought made this particular book a great read was that they used an old comic book trope in describing a character and showing you the silhouette, and then talking from the hero's point of view, talking about somebody else, leaving the reader to guess, formulate their own theories on who is he talking about right now and who could this possibly be and whatever.
Very Batman, like.
Yeah, kind of like that. Who's the mystery guy? Kind of even like cliffhanger. Sometimes they do that at the end of issues, or on the cover of Spider-Man, you'd see like a question mark and a silhouette, and kind of whatever, that type of thing. So that's kind of what made me think at this point. You see his radar sense, you see a figure, and he's describing this person. And the character is described as follows. He says, "There's a heartbeat, a strong one. I can almost hear his muscles tighten, coiled with incredible control. He's pure power and he doesn't even know it. He's the best of us." Any theories?
No.
Is it Luke Cage?
No.
Is it
No.
Thanos?
Oh, I actually know. I think I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I might have looked over your shoulder at some point, so I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No,
It's Captain.
my theory paid off. It's Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like-
knew.
And so he shows up to talk him down and like to tell him he's done.
Oh, is it Iron Fist? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Right. But no, he shows up and basically lets him know, he's like, we all know that we can't, this is a thing that we do and we all do our best and whatever, but we all know that we can't do this forever, and I hope that when my time comes, somebody comes to me and tells me and lets me know that, it's over for me and that I can move on, just like I'm doing for you. I'm letting you know it's over. And he's like, "You're right," whatever, and like basically hands him his mask, kind of like turning in his, badge or whatever kind of thing. And Spider-Man's really persuasive, and he's like super sympathetic, but he also knows, just like he knew, he's like, he's a powerhouse. You can't,
He's Spider-Man.
Yeah. So I dug the hell out of that. That was super cool cameo in the book for me.
Hasn't he seen any of those 80s cop films? you take the badge, it doesn't help.
Right.
It doesn't